Hello, everyone, and welcome to South Asian Artists in Conversation with Hamza and Ali. Thank you so much for both being on here. Um, yeah, if you could just introduce yourself and just tell everyone kind of what you do and how you got into being a creative. Whoever wants to go first.
Ali, yeah, wicked Ali, you go first.
Right on the spot there,
Nah,
right on
go
the
on, like you're the oldest out of respect for you, because no,
Hmm. I should
no,
have also
go
added
on.
this conversation is about on being a creative and the film that you guys were both in called Of God's Men. So yeah, Ali, who are you and what do you do?
Well, I'm Ali Arshad. I'm an actor from Manchester, alongside, and I do spoken word as well. So I do poetry and stuff like that. And yeah, actor, writer, poet. Yeah, that's me in a
Amazing.
nutshell. That's me in a nutshell.
And what kind of inspired you to want to go into spoken word and being an actor?
Um, it's a
Hmm.
weird one because like I've got quite a big family, but I'm the only one like who's gone down the whole creative route, and I
Same.
think it was just I think it was just like growing up like around like having the TV on just constantly like it was always like Star Gold or Star Plus like the whole Bollywood movies and the Bollywood music and all that stuff. So I think just being around that constantly having the on whether it was in the house or on car journeys and just it was just like yeah, it was just magical to me. Like the whole world. I was just like, I want to be part of that. And as you grow up, you kind of think like, oh, you kind of like as a kid, it's amazing watching it. But like then when you grow up, you kind of like how it's all done, how it's all shot, and all that sort of stuff. But then the magic still doesn't fade. Do you know what I mean? If that makes
Hmm.
sense. Um. So yeah, it was just like out of love for Bollywood. But then as I ventured more into it and I got to know it, I was like I think, yeah, this is what I want to do for as long as I can.
Yeah, amazing. I love that it was kind of Bollywood that I guess you watched growing up that inspired you because like for me, I only I guess got in touch with Bollywood as I was older, so that's really nice to
Yeah.
hear like for our generation as well that inspired you to want to
Mm.
go on. Was it like the films or like the all this the serials and stuff?
The serials. Honestly, it was the films, just like just the soundtrack and everything, and then you go to weddings and that sort of thing, and that whole sort of vibe, and like on your uncle's wedding DVD, and you know what I mean? Like it's just constantly just like being around that. And no, my sister used to watch series. So, like it used to be like a family sort of thing. So watching those like Indian classic serials. Yeah.
Incredible. And Hamza, for you, what made you go into, acting and music and just being an all-round creative?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a long story, but um, I've always been into the arts since I was younger. So when I was in high school, I used to break dance and stuff. And that's like kind of my introduction into it. Breakdancing is it's like a facet of hip hop of what hip hop was originally was. And yeah, like I've always had a love for music, but I was too scared to do it. So that didn't come until I was like 24. But
Okay.
with the acting stuff, I had no inclination or interest or understanding of acting, if I'm being honest with you, up until I was 16. Actually, I tell a lie. I had an audition once in high school, and that was for like West is West back in the day. And I didn't know what I was doing, and I just did it and left it there. Like I didn't know what was going on. But when I was 16, one of my cousins actually passed away. And at the same time, when I was in college, I was kind of like at a crossroads in what I wanted to do at uni because I didn't feel like dance had a future for me. So I chose something else that would probably be unlikely to get, which was acting, because I was doing drama in college as one of my courses. But yeah, after my cousin died, it was just a case of like, life is too short. You've got to just go for it. And from there, I started doing extra work, and that I did that just to get an understanding of what I was getting myself into, what to expect.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, a lot of people say if you want to be an actor, if you want to do this, try not to do extra work. But I would recommend extra work for a brief period at least, just so you have an understanding of what to expect, because the difference between what you can find in a show with a big production value and small production values, it's really different. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got into it. But music, again, unfortunately, it was another death that actually put me forward to just go for it. It was my grandma passing away, and after she passed away, again, it was one of those moments where like, life is too short, man. You just gotta do
Yeah,
these things.
do that.
Yeah.
And what you said about extra work, I think I know there is obviously if you're, working actor, it can be seen as detrimental. But I think for people, I guess, starting out, it can be a really good taster and insight into
Yeah.
how the industry works and how filming works. And I think getting it from not being on the screen all the time, you learn so much. And it can be quite daunting because I remember when I did some extra work, it just felt like, oh, no one cares about us. But I guess like
Yeah.
there's so many things going on set that it's just one of those things. So I think, yeah, for people starting out, I think that's a good way um, to sort of start out.
I think in a way as well, like when you do extra work and you do want to pursue acting, as in like getting speaking roles and whatnot, I think it's kind of like paying your dues. I mean, obviously people get different opportunities at different times, but I think when you've done it from that stage of being an extra, then you make this little bit of progression, and you end up having a speaking role in something. It really it feels more fulfilling, I guess.
Yeah, as opposed to kind of just jumping into it straight away.
Yeah.
And with your music, would you say like the style that you like, has that kind of changed since you were younger, or has it always been the sort of same style?
Mm, I mean, it's developed, I guess. Since I started doing music, it's developed a lot more.
Yeah.
So whether it's film or music, my introduction into a lot of different things was at my grandma's house at Medley Street, which is where I get my artist name from, Medley. Um, but yeah, a lot of it was mostly on Medley Street. It was songs that were like popular at the time in high school, and my one of my uncles, he used to just tell me to get songs from LimeWire, and it'd be like really old songs like Isley Brothers or a song by Ten Snake or all sorts of just like random stuff. But I ended up liking them a lot, and yeah, it kind of like it influenced me a lot, and it still influences me today. Yeah.
Amazing. Oh yeah, I always wondered where medley came. I assumed it was because obviously medley is to do with music, but did you say that was where the street your grandma lived on?
Yeah, it was called Medley
Yeah.
Street. So
Okay. Oh,
yeah, it was kind of two meanings. So Medley
yeah.
Street because of
Med-
that, and then Medley because I like all sorts of different styles and
Oh,
stuff.
that's really nice, and I think it's inspiring for people to know that both of those experiences in your family inspired you to want to use that to sort of go into both music and acting.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, you can either let things destroy you or you can rebuild from it. And I just tried to rebuild.
We build from it. And as I guess being creatives, I think there can be, I guess, misconceptions or what we know as life as creatives can be different, I guess, to people on the outside or people who don't know about the creative field. So, how would you guys describe your life as creatives compared to, say, how it may look or be perceived by people on the outside?
I'd say it's definitely like a balancing act. You've got to like you've got to balance being creative and like just doing like just normal day to day sort of thing, like your day job or something. And I think with people who don't know what the industry is like, it's like so you tell people you're an actor and they'll be like, "Oh, so what have you been in like recently?" And it's like, "Well, I might not have been in anything you might have seen." Do you know what I mean? I never know how
Yeah,
to answer that. I think people might assume like you're always busy as a creative. You might be constantly working, and it's like actually as a creative, like you're probably not working more than you are.
yeah, and
Literally what
yeah,
Ali was saying. Literally pretty much that. I think people only see the results of what you do rather than the work that
yeah,
goes into it, and they don't see the maybe weeks or months or sometimes even years where you don't have work. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? And you still have to label yourself as a creative, even though you're not getting that what you actually want. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, pretty much what Ali said.
And I feel like both of you said the kind of what have you sort of been in that I mean, I get it. Like if I wasn't an actor and I said that I would want to know, but I think sometimes I don't know if you guys can relate, you feel like you have to kind of explain yourself or think, oh, what have I been in? And it's just one of those questions where it's like, oh yeah, I've done a bit of this. If you've obviously not reached your goals, and do you guys feel like you have to kind of explain yourselves a bit more than you should? Or
I used to feel
I
that way. Oh, go
I
on.
still have to explain what I do to my family, so yeah, I'm just constantly explaining. No, go on. Sorry, Hamza, I interrupted you. Yeah, go on.
No, carry on, bro. It's fine.
Um, yeah, it's a trick on it. I guess you just have to like I guess people say what you've been and just to like because they're interested in
Yeah.
they want to know more. But it's like when you haven't been and stuff, it's hard for like then you kind of question yourself and go, actually, what have I been in? Like, what am I doing? Tell me what am I doing with my life? Like, what have I been in? I haven't been in anything for like 3 months. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, um, yeah, it's just, um, yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one.
Yeah. Hamza, what about you? You said that you used to kind of
Yeah,
feel
I
like,
used to like it used to not necessarily bother me, but I really rack my brain about, what have I been in, what have I done. But
yeah.
obviously when these people are asking, they don't understand the different kind of things you can do as an actor. Not to say that I've done loads of different things, but there's commercial work, there's what's it called? A lot of corporate work. You can get good
Yeah.
money for doing corporate work, and people don't understand that doing a training video, that's still acting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's all sorts, but I think now it's, I mean, because since we won them awards, baby, you know what I mean? I've not been as,
That's a whole different perspective.
yeah, I'll be like, yeah, I'm in an award-winning film now. Yeah, just no,
No,
I'm
but it
joking.
is something like it is something you can say and you can take pride in the
Yeah,
fact
but
that
then
you
they're
guys,
like, oh, where can you watch it? And you're like, yeah, we're waiting for
yeah,
distribution. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah.
it's it used to be more difficult, but now it's less of a worry for me,
Mm.
because
Because he's an award-winning actor now. You see,
Yeah,
he doesn't
exactly.
have to worry about he doesn't
You
have to worry
can't
about
top
that
that.
anymore.
You can't top that. You've got that engraved to your name. But no, I think also, yeah, that you mentioned the corporate work, because I do quite a lot of corporate work, and I think sometimes stuff like that and training videos, it can be looked down upon even by actors who have done stuff. And I always say like work is work, no matter what you're doing. If
Yeah.
you're if you're an actor and you genuinely enjoy that, it for you it doesn't really matter if it's not something bigger, like you're still getting by. And it's so nice to be able to have that as, I guess, work in between bigger projects.
yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
and coming back to that like that extra thing as well. Some actors might not do the whole extra because they might see as being beneath them. Do you know what I mean? But it's
yeah,
like any opportunity is an opportunity. Do you know what I mean? Because
exactly.
even if you're an extra and you don't have any line, you're still learning on set. That's invaluable. Do you know what I mean? Like
meet good
there's
people as well, man. You meet a lot of good people
Yeah.
doing extra
oh
work.
yeah.
And yeah, that's the thing is, or sometimes the connections that you can make on those, I guess, smaller jobs, you have no idea where that could lead to. Someone could be looking for you in a project like even 10 years down the line. So I think connections, even on smaller jobs, is always important. And kind of what you said about the things people don't see, I think it can always, our industry can always look so kind of glamorous, but you don't see the grafting and the auditions and all the rejection in between as well.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, that kind of leads me into the next question, which is similar. But what do you guys wish people knew more about the industry, or what do you wish you knew more before you kind of entered it?
In terms of what I wish I knew more is that it's a lot of it is a case of who you know, not necessarily what you know.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think people might disagree with that, but I genuinely think that even with music, that's been somewhat critical for me. Like who I know has been more helpful than what I know. What I wish other people knew. Hmm. Just how much work goes into it, really, and that not everything that you do is going to be on TV or be on films or be all over the place that everyone can see. You know, pretty much that.
Ali, what about
Um, you pretty much covered it. I think it's like the like how glamorous it can seem that can always be like really deceptive and like you don't see like, what goes on behind the curtain sort of thing, like the graft that we put in. And like the whole I remember like when the whole lockdown thing was happening and people were like artists aren't really that important, and it was like just how much like like just how important we actually are, and
Yeah.
like how much entertainment people consume on a daily basis. Like um yeah, so just be more appreciative of your actors, people. Like that's
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I hate that when when people criticize actors, and I'm just like, what do you watch on TV? Like people
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah, yeah.
consumes them, and there escapism or just something that they enjoy. And it's like we need actors around there.
Mm.
Um, and I think one thing as well, like before I entered, and it may have changed, was this whole idea of like once you've got like your big break, that's it. And I think like to an extent, depending on I guess what the project is and I guess how many people have viewed it and watched it, that can be a thing. But I think these days now, even if you get your break, it doesn't mean you're sorted for life. And I used to think, oh, it's just like that one, even like back in school, I think I had like an episode of Casualty that I auditioned for, and I was like, if I get this will be my career. And now thinking back, I'm like, I was so naive because you can still do a massive project and then still have not have loads of work for ages.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on that sort of in terms of like the big break? And do you think that yeah, you just need that one break, or you need a bit?
Yeah, I don't think you need one big break. I think it's just a case of how much work you put in or how much work you get. Is a big break. You can be in a massive film and it be a flop and no one hears for you, hears about you for the rest of your life. I think the one thing that's helped me navigate it is just not having expectations. Like whatever comes my way, I do the job I'm supposed to do. Then after it, whatever happens for me, it's in God's hands.
Yeah.
If I get too attached to an outcome that's not there, I'm gonna get depressed. I'm gonna get worried. I'm gonna get miserable about it, or just I'll be annoyed when things don't work out the way I expect them to work out.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I think that's been the most important thing. And the thing is, right, because when I started doing this, of course, my mum was like really excited for me. Do you know what I mean? So every
Oh.
time I got an audition, every time I got a extra work, she'd just be so happy for me. Then when I wouldn't get auditions and I wasn't successful and stuff, um, she'd be upset for me. And it got to a point where I was like, Mum, you're more worried about it than I am. So I had to like find a way to figure out how do I navigate this without feeling the way she's feeling. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, like I love my mum. I don't want her
Mm.
to be upset. So nowadays, it's more of a case of mum got an audition for something. Don't get excited. I'll just
Yeah.
leave it there. I don't tell her what the outcome is if there is an outcome or whatever. But she's used to it now too. So it's just
Uh,
managing expectations, I think.
I guess when you're younger as well, like you want to make the people around you proud. So you
Yeah.
feel like even if you're not that bothered, you're like, no, I want to be able to get auditions. But I think it's just liberating when you're older. It's like sometimes there'll be a busy period and sometimes it'll be quiet. And obviously, like you said, it's out of your control. So I think you not having expectations, but also the people around you not having too many expectations as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, it's that philosophy as well as like what's meant to be will be. I know it's like dead cheesy, but like I
No.
kind of believe in it. Like and what's meant for you, like it won't. It's not going to pass you by.
Yeah.
So it's just yeah. So it's like Hamza said, just like managing those expectations and yeah.
And I guess sometimes as well, like being too attached to a project, I guess it could be a flop. But then the flip side of it is if you're quite neutral, you don't know what can come from it. So sometimes it's quite nice if you're not expecting a lot and then it's like a hit show on Netflix that everyone is kind of binge watching. So I think a neutral mindset is good for, I guess, both outcomes.
I have like really bad attachment issues. I get attached as soon as I get the self tape through. Like
Yeah.
I love this script. I'm like I, I have to do it.
I think it's hard when it's again something when you really, really love it and you can't
You're
help.
like yeah, that's it.
But then sometimes I'm kind of like, am I blocking my manifestation by not being too attached? Like I want this. So it's like, I don't know, I guess
Yeah.
it's finding that kind of that middle ground. Um, and following from that, what we do you have any advice for people wanting to enter the industry or younger South Asian actors?
Mm.
Get onto
Um,
South Asian artists and chat to everyone. That's my best advice.
What was that? Sorry.
Get onto South Asian artists and chat to everyone.
Oh,
yeah, good plug, good plug.
thank you.
Get on the Bangladesh chat as well.
Yeah.
You know, um, just I guess just like be prepared and like, just make sure like you've got thick skin because you're gonna get like
Yeah.
a lot of no's,
Mm,
and it's just about you're just dealing with that and just like um not being afraid to like work through those no's to eventually get to your yes. Um, and yeah, like it's a cutthroat industry, and but just believe in yourself, and if it's some and just be passionate. I
Yeah.
think that gets you so far. Just like being passionate, whether it's like a small project, big project, whatever it is you're doing, just have that passion.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
people can, yeah, no, go on.
Sorry, I was gonna say like just be yourself, man. Really
Yeah,
just be. Obviously, it's such a weird thing to say when your job is to play different people and take on different personalities, but being yourself is it's a value all on its own because the experiences you go through, that's what makes you into the performer or actor, whatever that you are. Do you know what I mean? And you shouldn't I'm trying to say it without swearing, but you shouldn't take a crap on your experiences and think that they're pulling you back because that's like the seasoning for who you are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's a really good phrase. Yeah, it is the seasoning because really good points that you both made because obviously we are pretending to be other people, but within every role that we do bring our authenticity to that.
yeah,
That's the first thing we do, and then obviously add all the other layers. So you have to kind of know who you are, and that's why a lot of people sometimes say you need a lot of life experience because that will
yeah,
feed into all the characters that
definitely.
you portray. And it's not, I think it's not for everyone because a lot of people love it. They love being creatives, but because I guess they don't have the thick skin or they can't handle it, a lot of people have left it just because of the rejection. So I think with the thick skin is something that you just have to be prepared for.
Yeah.
And
I,
if you're not, unfortunately, it might not work kind of in your way.
I think with that thick skin comment, I think it's that goes to who are you doing it for? Because if you're doing it for other people, then the amount of no's you get is going to affect you. But if you're doing it for yourself because you love it, you don't really care about how many no's you get. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
Ali knows himself. How many years was I doing this before I even got speaking room? Like I love doing this thing. You know what I mean? And the amount of no's is yeah. We're
Yeah.
we're experts in rejection, basically.
Exactly. We are. We are. I feel like it's probably one of the most rejected one over the yeses that you do get. But then when you do get that yes, I'm like, okay, it's all worth it.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, moving on now to the award-winning film of God's Men. So tell us a little bit about the filming and what that process was like, because I believe it was a couple of years ago that you guys filmed it.
2022.
yeah, 2022. Yeah, well,
Go on, you start, lad.
um, it was it was scary. It was like intimidating at first because like we knew it was gonna be we're gonna have like 13 days to shoot it. We knew that from the get go, and yeah, like that really put me off at first because I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be like we're not gonna have time to do like retakes. It's just gonna be like we're just gonna have to like be on an A game and it might like feel rushed and stuff. But once we got there and we kind of settled in, it was yeah the day just like flew by and stuff and um yeah and like we met on the set. We never met before and
No, we
Is
met
that how
once
you guys
before.
met?
yeah
We met once before for like
once
12 seconds.
yeah 12 seconds yeah
I thought you guys knew each other before, so
No, no.
yeah it was just through like Insta like
oh
creatives and
yeah, yeah.
stuff but
Okay.
yeah we'd never yeah we yeah which is a weird thing to like but that kind of worked for the film to play like kind of distant brothers and stuff so it kind of worked well for the film um but yeah and like it was a small like skeleton crew and like obviously and a South Asian crew as well and yeah but that having just 13 days to shoot like was really yeah it's kind of off-putting for me at first.
Hmm. How long was the actual film in total? I can't remember, was it a feature or was it a short
Feature
film?
film, yeah,
You know
just
the
under
feature
Oh,
yeah
an
oh
hour
my
ago.
God, that wow, 13 days.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, like from my perspective, I'm trying to remember if I knew we had 13 days to film, but I think with Ali, he was filming every single day, whereas I had a few days off. So I
Okay.
wasn't too worried in that respect, but with Wahid, our director, he had everything organized to a T. So I knew what scenes I was doing on what day.
Mhm.
So I had plenty of time to go over stuff, and then it was just a case of, blocking it out when we were in the moment on the set. Um, yeah, I'm obviously because of my experience as an extra, I'm used to having being on productions where it's much more of a smaller, intimate crew. So it didn't really bother me in that respect. I was just excited to do it. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I like the
Uh,
story a lot.
yeah. So sorry, I think the fact that it was
Sorry.
such a small crew, that makes it even just more special. I mean, that more intimate sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. That's sorry, go on.
No, it's just talking about I can't remember what I was saying. But yeah, I was just more ingrained into where my character was, I guess, trying to understand what he was thinking in this scene. I was because everything was so well organized, I didn't have to really worry about anything aside from where I'm going on the certain day, and that's it.
Mm.
So it was Wahid, credit to him, he
Yeah, yeah,
managed
for
it to a
sure.
T perfectly.
Did you, for people, I guess, who don't know how a film set works on this particular one, did you have like much time in between takes to work on scenes, or was it, I guess, whilst you're filming that you developed the stuff?
That's a good question,
Yeah,
I
because I
don't think
think, sorry, no, just say like, because I think every production is different. There are going to be times where it's just like, okay, there's not enough time, especially because you guys had 13 days. So
yeah.
it's interesting for other
We
people to know
yeah,
how.
we actually didn't have that much time to rehearse. I think there was just one scene, and it's the one with the girls in the flat. That I think that was the only scene where we got like time to kind of just like you go through it and stuff. But yeah, which is what I was saying about like being on top of our A game. Like we had to, like coming to set prepared, and yeah, yeah, because we didn't have that much time anyway, so we just kind of had to get through it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't think we had time constraints in the respect of we've got this area for like 2 hours. We can only do this amount. I mean, there might have been certain bits with Ali, like in the park, where he's throwing something away that that he needed to keep discreet. I think that was the only well, Ali can say, but from my perspective, from the scenes that I was doing, there wasn't any, we need to do this quick and we need to go. Um,
Mhm.
we had time. Obviously, we had a certain amount of days to do it, but.
Yeah, but on the actual days, it didn't feel like too much kind of.
No, I didn't
That's
feel
it.
rushed or nothing like that.
Because it can be off-putting when, because that can put pressure on you sometimes as actors where you want to perfect it, whereas if it's a bit more lenient, that kind of added layer of pressure is off.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quite basic in the respect of like, if the director's happy, I'm happy. If they want me to
yeah,
try something else, I'll try something else. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
he
yeah. I
was
think that
happy.
was the same for me as well. Like just as long as, like I'm a massive overthinker, so I'm constantly thinking about, oh, could have done that better, could have done that better.
Mhm.
But like as long as Wahid was happy with it, I was happy to move on. If he would have asked for like
Yeah.
1,000 retakes, I'd have been happy to do that. But like once he was happy to move on, I was like, yeah, okay, cool. As long as you're happy, then yeah,
Yeah. I think that's a reassuring thing because yeah, when I've been on set and in plays and stuff, I'm like, oh, I could have done that better. But at the end of the day, it's the director's vision. So if they're
yeah,
happy with it, then they've got a different perspective that you might not be able to see. So you just have to accept their words and hope that they know what they're doing. And was it all filmed in Birmingham?
All
was
from
yeah.
him.
Cool,
They were originally gonna
Oh,
oh, I think we
okay.
lost Yanni.
I had no idea what he was going to say either.
Technical difficulties.
Um, yeah,
Well,
but it was.
yeah,
We'll wait till he comes back. But I think
yeah, yeah.
it was. I don't think I know. It was all recorded in Birmingham. Um,
Okay.
I think originally he wanted us to have Birmingham accents, but when he heard us speak, he was like, "You're both from Manchester. Forget it. It's just
Yeah.
yeah." But yeah. I mean, I think Ali's completely just.
Was he? Let me stream it. But like you can't do one of these
think.
without having some sort of
Oh, heard some of that. There we go. It's
back,
back.
you're back.
Sorry, my set
No,
went
no,
off
it's
there.
all good. I was just saying like you
Uh,
can't do one of these without having technical difficulties. Yeah. Go on, continue.
sorry.
No.
You said like yeah, it was all filmed in Brum, but I think the plan was the original plan was for it to be like a full Birmingham crew and like Birmingham
Okay.
actors in it as well. But then they ended up casting like two actors from Manny, so that kind of that kind of changed.
Yeah. And in terms of like the locations and stuff, was it all kind of filmed inside or like a mix of stuff?
It was a mix.
A
It was
mix.
a mix.
Yeah, there was no, go on, go on.
No, I was just gonna say there was from what I remember, there was a couple of flats, um, a warehouse. We did the warehouse as well,
Yeah,
didn't we? I think you did a lot of outdoor scenes. I only did like maybe a handful. You
mm.
did all the days, so you,
Yeah,
you
we were everywhere.
really
We were just exploring Birmingham at that point. We were just like
Yeah.
tourists.
Just
um,
like
yeah, no, there's no talking about like the whole the time constraints thing. There was like this one bit on our train where we had to like get to the station at a certain time and like get on the train, shoot what we needed to shoot. It was just me like staring out the train for a bit, and then yeah, and Griffin just get off at the next stop. So
okay.
yeah,
In that sense, though, yeah. And moving on to the film festivals, I believe it was it Manchester Film Festival and UK Asian Film Festival that it was screened at.
yeah.
Yeah, tell everyone a bit how that felt, knowing that your film was going to be shown at the festivals, but also winning. Was it two awards? Because I'm aware, Hamza, did you get Best Actor, and then what was the other?
Best feature film.
Yeah.
Okay, how was that?
I can only speak for the Manchester one because I wasn't
Oh yeah.
able to go to the occasion one. But I think going there first, I mean, like I said before, when we finished the film, I didn't have any expectations whatsoever. I was just like, whatever Wahid wants to do with the film is what he wants to do. We've done our job now. And he'd been submitting it, and he told us at the end of 2023, I think, that it might have, or it could have been the start of 2024. He was telling us that it got accepted into Manchester Film Festival, and I had to keep it quiet for ages, and I'm not used to doing that. Do you know what I mean? So
I see you knew quite a while before.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we knew a good few months in advance. It was just a lot of excitement, and then getting there on the day, it was very surreal. Actually watching the screening, there was people that I've known for a long time, people that I've known since I started doing creative stuff, just really good people. And we'd watched the film before at like a cast and crew showing, but watching it in that environment with people I know in my family as well, it was just a surreal thing, very surreal. But it was nice. Everyone was good. It was a beautiful thing to finally get a speaking role in a film. That's one thing, but then for it to get shown in a film festival is a completely different thing in your home city as well, and then
Yeah.
win awards and like the day after. It still
like
blows my mind thinking about it.
it's kind of like everything sort of came together
Yeah,
in that sense.
really
And
did.
what did it feel like when you won the Best Actor award? Big question.
It's like it was weird, right? Because we weren't even planning to go to the award evening that day.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah,
weren't, okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
we got told the day of that it was happening. Like the people who came from Birmingham had gone back. They'd gone back, so we were like, we have to go because it's it's our hometown. We've got to
Yeah.
represent.
yeah.
So yeah, we had to pull up, and yeah, but it was very last minute. Do you know what I mean? I was like, the director told us to happen. I was like, what time? I have to like make sure we got time to get ready and stuff. Yeah, so it was very last minute, hectic.
Then when we got there, we saw a few people that we'd seen the previous day at our showing, and then we just went in. Like Ali was joking, he was literally like, "Oh, we're not gonna leave here without an award," and I was like, "Yeah, sweet, lad, no worries." So we walk in, we sit
Manifested it.
down, and we fully did. We walked in and we sat down, and they're going through these awards. Yeah, just going through it, and then they did best actor. Then when they said my name, I literally froze and I just looked at Ali like that. I didn't know what to do, bro. And then got up, got down, gave a little speech, and I was shaking for a while, man. I was
It's a shock,
shaking, but
isn't it?
yeah, and I've been doing this since I was 16, and it's really boosting my confidence. Like I've been on set recently since winning that award for a short film, and I can feel that I'm just moving different. Do you know what I mean? Not in like a boastful or egotistical way, but it's like a self-assurance that I've got now. And sometimes it does take other people to recognize recognize your talent for you to accept that you've got talent. you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But yeah, it was just so surreal, so surreal. And you know what made it even better is just going home and then showing my parents.
Yeah.
And they were just so proud of me. Yeah, man.
I
It was
think
beautiful.
that's a really good point that you made, in the sense that you, for the next film you did, maybe you didn't you didn't need the validation, but sometimes it does help. And I guess like
Yeah.
there's this whole thing about we shouldn't need exterior validation, but I think for our industry, technically it is all based on validation, because
Yeah,
someone is either going to say yes or no, or like your stuff or not. So I think the fact that you got the award, now you're like, do you know what, I can kind of go and do anything, and the next one you kind of have that reassurance that yeah, you've got this award now, you're going
yeah.
to do it, and then
I mean, I'll be clear, like awards don't mean a single thing, but it's what
yeah,
it's done for me mentally is that's where I found the value in it. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, it's just a level of reassurance that I wouldn't have got from myself.
And obviously, Hamza, you didn't go, you couldn't make it to the UK Asian Film Fest, but Ali, you went down, didn't you?
I
How
did, yeah. Yeah, it was yeah, it was unreal, just like so many like South Asian creatives in one room, and it's like I didn't even know like a film festival like this even existed. Do you know what I mean? So like just being in the room with so many people, that of your culture, it just felt like yeah, it was so enriching, such like yeah, such a great experience. Yeah, just to be around that environment and those people. Yeah.
And was there a Q&A after as well with yourself and the people on the film when it was screened?
Yeah, there was, yeah. So, it was me, Sabrina, who was the AD,
Oh
and
yeah.
she had a role in the film as well, and with the director, and with
Okay.
Wahid, yeah.
What was that like? Because I guess sometimes with films, or most of the time, you do the film and it's out there, but to actually be able to speak about the film when people have watched that, how was that for you, being able to answer questions that people had about it?
Well, I think I would have been like we'd already had like a Q&A at the film festival, so
Oh,
it's kind of yeah, so I was kind of more. I feel like I was more prepared for the second one, because I'd already done one before. But most of the questions were like towards Wahid. Do you know what I mean? So me and Sabine were just there for support. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But yeah, no, it's weird. Just like any project that you've done, you kind of you don't expect it to like you kind of like Hamza was saying, like you do a project like you're done with it. Do you know what I mean? You don't expect,
yeah.
and then for people to ask questions because they're intrigued and because they want to know more, it's very like affirming, and it's a good feeling, for people to ask you questions about a project that you were in. How did you find it? To ask about your experiences and stuff like that. It's yes, very rewarding.
I think it shows that there's the need for stuff like this, because
Yeah,
I think it's when people want to know more, then that shows you've done good stuff, because it's stuff that's not already out there. And now
Oh,
it is, and people are like, can we have more of this?
oh,
Um,
I was
yeah.
gonna say with the Manchester Film Festival, because we won Best UK feature film as well. I just wanted to let people know, if you're considering trying to make a film or something, just bloody do it, bro. Just do it. Like what Wahid kept saying to me before, during, and after the filming was, "We're doing this by hook and by crook, or by crook. By hook or by crook, we're going to do this." And it was that guy's determination, that guy's effort, bro. This film was made with a 10 grand budget, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 10 grand?
yeah,
Yeah, it was made with a 10 grand budget, and it was up against films that had thousands, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even millions of pounds of budget. Do you know what I mean? So for us to come away with that award, specifically the UK Best UK Feature, again, it's another level of affirmation, but it just shows that anyone can do it. And to be honest with you, I've really got to give a massive shout out just to Manchester Film Festival for selecting that
yeah,
film, and um, you know, what's the words I'm looking for, when they were doing their judgments for the awards, just for fighting the cause for our film, and seeing the value in it that maybe some other film festivals and other people didn't see.
And to recognize it as
Yeah,
well. Yeah, I mean, because obviously you didn't have, I guess, as big of a budget as the other ones. to some people it might be off-putting, and you might just think I've got no chance if they've got this massive budget. But that's so inspiring to people out there who, obviously within our industry, and it's becoming obviously a bigger thing. Money, money is a massive issue, so I think it can be off-putting, but if you can make it work, then you're not going to lose anything.
Yeah.
As cheesy.
Well, he said like he would have shot it on his iPhone if he had to, So, yeah, it was like his determination that got us through the film, and he keeps saying like the content that comes out today, whether he doesn't feel connected to it at all, like because and he just wanted to make this film because he wanted something that he could connect to. I mean, so I think it's so important to just, if no one's willing to tell our stories, then we just have to do it ourselves. I think that's it.
Yeah, and with that mindset, I think with authenticity, if it's your your story and your true meaning and words, you can't really go wrong with it because it's so authentic. And if it speaks to you, then it's going to speak to people out there. 100%. So I think one big thing in our industry is just, like Hamza said, be yourself, be authentic, because it is going to resonate with other people.
And have a perspective too, because with that character that I played, I mean, on the surface level, there's no similarities between us. But for me, I could have been that character if my life had gone in a certain way, or if I didn't have the people around me that I had, or if I wasn't even born in the place I was born. Like, I could see easily how I could have become that person, and it made it easier to play.
Yeah, it's the empathy, isn't it, that I guess you have to have as an actor, right? Like putting yourself in other people's shoes and adopting their mindset.
Yeah, and evidently it resonated with other people, so I'm just grateful for that, really.
Amazing.
Yeah, when we were like, I think the best thing about having the screenings, when you're in a room with people and you kind of like, I can't watch myself back, so I wasn't watching the screen half the time. But I was just like looking at other people's reactions and they'd find things funny that weren't like that we didn't find funny watching it. Do you know what I mean? And they're laughing at stuff, and it's just like seeing how they appreciate the film. It made that so much more like, it's just amazing just being in a room. Yeah,
that's like one thing. I mean, it's like, it might sound cringe, that warms my heart when it's like you're doing something. It may not be meant to be funny, but when people laugh at stuff you don't expect, that's when I'm just like, wow, like on as an actor. And we got a question that was submitted by someone, and I'd love to hear, who are both of your inspirations?
Oh God,
big question.
Big question, yeah.
I'm gonna go with two, and it might be a bit left field. It's acting wise. I want to go Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan.
Nice.
Three actually: Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Eddie Murphy. But weirdly enough, it's all for a similar reason. They're all themselves. There's like a level of individuality that they bring to their characters. Like Bruce Lee, like obviously he was the trendsetter in terms of action films, and how action films are today was majorly because of his influence. And when Jackie Chan came along, he saw that everyone was trying to do Bruce Lee, and he was like, no, well, let me do it my way. And Jackie Chan is undeniable, bro, absolutely undeniable. And then with Eddie Murphy, I don't know, man. There's just something about him that he just warms my heart. Like, he makes me laugh. Like, I might seem like a jovial guy, but I hardly laugh. You know what I mean? It takes a lot to make me laugh at stuff. And I don't know, Eddie Murphy, obviously he's got the comedic aspect to him, but I wish he did a lot more serious roles, because I think he's a tremendous actor. Just how he captures humanity, you know what I mean? In his eyes, in his actions.
He's very likable. He's likable as an actor.
I love him.
What about you, Ali? Who are your inspirations?
I think I've got to go with Dave Patel, Shah Rukh Khan, and Riz Ahmed, right? Because with Riz and Dave, they're all like fantastic actors, but it's like Hamza, like being true to themselves. They're all themselves. Do you know what I mean? And with Riz, it's more like his spoken word. That's what got me into it, like discovering his rap stuff and his poetry stuff. And Dave Tell I've been watching like since Skin days, and to see him like make his own film and be like the own lead and stuff. And I saw like this BBC interview where he was like saying he wants to do like a rom com. He wants to be a rom com lead.
I saw that as well. Yeah,
I love that. And with Shah Rukh Khan, obviously, like Bollywood was like so rife with nepotism, like and like Hamza was saying, it's about who you know. But to see like with Shah Rukh Khan, like a man who came from nothing to be where he is today, like that's inspirational. And I just want to say one thing about inspiration stuff. You know Akib, right? We all know Akib. And so I was in my first year of drama school, and he went to the same drama school, but he'd left by the time I got there. But he came in to do like a talk with the youngest with our year, and he walked in kind of like this blonde hair, was like an audition at the time and stuff. And he was kind of talking about how he like how he's finding life after drama school and the projects he's been a part of, and how he's like writing projects and stuff. And that really inspired me, because I was the only like South Asian in my year. There's like 30 of us. Like there's no South Asian teachers at the school as well, so that was kind of like daunting. But seeing him talk about his writing stuff, that pushed me to write my own stuff, and it just showed like it's possible for like someone who looks like me like to make a career out of this. Yeah.
I think sometimes.
Sorry, I was going to say, like, aside from my inspirations, those are my, the ones that I had growing up. But obviously, being a brown guy in this industry, literally every single brown person I see, whether they're on production, whether they're doing a small role, whether it's yourself hosting these kind of interviews and doing what you do, whether it's working alongside of Ali, they're my inspiration. Now, it might sound corny or whatever, but I genuinely don't care, because when I came into this, I came into it in a time where like a lot of people, even my family, were telling me that this industry is not for you. They only let one or two through. And from that time to now, what else can I say? We're making a lot of headway, and there's a lot more progress than what people would have assumed there would have been. So, and that's just because of the determination and the passion of people like ourselves.
That's interesting you say that, because when I left uni in 2019, I don't know if I was naive, or maybe that's how the industry was at the time, but I barely knew. Like, I knew about 4 South Asian creatives, let alone actors, and I was just like,
2019.
Sorry, 2019. That's when I left, and I was like, I know there's got to be more, but not on the absolute level that I discovered when doing this platform in lockdown. And then even recently, there's always new faces, and like there were thousands and thousands
And
of
the thing
us.
is, man, I've got to give you like so much credit, because like Of God's Men would have come together if you didn't put South Asian artists together, because it was Sahar that sent me the call out for that, and I wouldn't have known it if there wasn't no South Asian artists there. So the work that you're doing, even if some days you might not feel it's getting you somewhere, it's helping people in ways you can't imagine.
You've got no idea.
But I've always said that, again, as cheesy as it sounds, this platform wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for you guys and everyone who had interacted and saw there is the kind of need for it. And I wouldn't have got inspiration if I hadn't attended previous Zooms. So I love that within this industry, it's kind of like a chain of reactions and a chain of networking, which is why I say networking is so important, because you really never know who you're going to meet and what that could lead to sort of years down the line. And thank you for sharing your inspirations. I know it's the big and personal questions, but I resonate with all of them that you said. Okay, we're almost at the end of this part of the interview. I always like to end a little bit on obviously representation. And my question is, what have you guys seen, I guess, in recent years, like the past 2 years, past 3 years, in terms of South Asian representation? And now in 2024, what do you want to see even more of?
There's definitely been like a positive change. I'm definitely seeing more South Asian faces, like whether that's on Netflix in Bridgerton, or Mindy Kaling, Sylvelma, or like it's therefore we're heading in the right direction, which is it's a great thing. Obviously, there's more to be done. But like Dave Patel, starring it as a lead in his own thing, writing his own work and stuff like that. And I think and we went to see that amazing adaptation of Great Expectations,
Yeah.
Which was brilliant. And I think that's what I think that's what I'd like to see more of, like more South Asian representation in like bigger theatre productions. Yeah, because so many amazing stories you could adapt, and so many South Asian stories you could bring to the stage.
What about you, Hamza?
Yeah, I just echo those sentiments really. I mean, there's been a lot of progress that we've made, but there's always more to be made. I mean, I think we're at a point now where we're starting to move away from those stories that are like stereotypically South Asian.
Yeah.
I think there's a more like Of God's Man's a great example of it. Just gonna plug it there, but the nuance of the South Asian experience and the diversity in it. A Pakistani Muslim's upbringing is not going to be the same as a Indian Hindu person's upbringing. You know what I mean? There's going to be these vital differences, but there will be similarities maybe in racism that you've encountered or day-to-day stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I think now we, I mean, yeah, it's just finding those more nuanced stories that maybe not every single person is going to relate to, but there will be a certain community that will relate to that. I mean, yeah, I can't remember from the top of my head like anything I've seen recently that really tackles that, that stereotypical kind of aspect that people have of us. So I'm glad that's going. But in terms of representation, I want to see more brown people writing. I want to see them make the stories. Um, it's getting better. It's definitely getting better. This short film that I was on, the director was South Asian. We had a South Asian sound guy. Like there is more space than there has been for us ever, and I'm happy to see that.
And I think if you have those teams behind the scenes, if you have more people, then that's only going to mean that in front of the screens, you're getting more, not just more, but authentic and correct and not stereotypical, which sometimes, if there aren't those people behind, it can be done so inaccurately. So I think it is important, or to have someone who knows the
Yeah, I mean, like
story.
the thing is, I don't mind if there's someone who's not South Asian telling a South Asian story,
Of
but
course.
that is only if they have the correct guidance to be able to tell that South Asian story. Like, if you're so disconnected from that culture and that life and that understanding, and you've just been put here to make a film, well, you're not really going to do anything that's going to touch people. You're going to do something that just gets you from A to B. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not really a story, it's just entertainment.
I think research is so important. You have to
Yeah.
know what the history and what you're talking about. Um, but no, I think what we're seeing now is, to be honest, like South Asians, we are everywhere. Like I'm seeing more of us like on screen. And I think obviously there's still work to do, but I think what both of you said, we are kind of moving away from the stereotypes. I am seeing us where, like for example, I don't know if you guys have seen Bridgerton. I think Ali, you mentioned it, but what I loved about that was in series two, it was not just two South Asian, and this is where I criticize Bollywood, it was darker skinned, which is a
Yeah.
massive step going forwards, just jumping straighter. But also with that, it wasn't like the ethnicity of them. It wasn't, well, to me, it didn't feel like it was centric to the character. And I think a lot of stuff we are seeing is our ethnicity is still centric to the character, but with Bridgerton, obviously they had to refer to it a bit to know where they were from, but it wasn't focused on. And that was a period drama. So I think in that kind of sense, we are sort of moving forwards.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the stories that, like, again, of God's men, these are two Muslim Pakistani lads, but there isn't very much reference to what being Pakistani is or being Pakistani within their story. Islam, of course, because Ali's character is going through a massive change in his life, and I'm, trying to figure out that change, whilst being a horrible person to him. But, yeah, man, it's changing in a great way. Even the film that we're doing now, the short film, I'm playing like a romantic lead, and there's like references to our culture, but it's not all about, oh, my culture won't let me do this and my culture won't let me do that. It's like, no, this is a part of us, and
Yeah.
this is just one person's way of navigating that in this country that, you know, we've been born into.
And yeah, I think like you said, sometimes yeah, it is important to reference it. But if it's not needed, then it's so refreshing where it's like we don't need to make the whole focus about who they are and where they've come from. So it's refreshing to see, yeah, we'll touch on it, but then there's so much more layers to us as people that doesn't need to be about our kind of
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel like time goes so quick, and I feel like there's so much that we can speak about each of these topics. But we're kind of coming towards the end of the main part. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing all of your insight. I think for people who I guess are new or who are entering or don't know much about the industry, I wanted this chat to be very insightful. I think you guys have shared a lot of insight from your perspectives. We're going to kind of move into some fun fire round questions. They're just very random.
Oh.
Right, you guys ready? Right, what are both of your favorite desserts?
Oh
Gulab
God,
jamun. Gulab jamun.
I was literally gonna say that as well. Is that and chocolate fudge cake maybe?
Oh,
I love a chocolate. I love chocolate brownie as well.
yeah, that's good. Oh, cookie dough.
Kebab
Yeah,
jam shout.
I love cookie dough with ice cream. Okay, favorite film genre?
Mm.
I'd be letting Shah Rukh Khan down if I didn't say romance. So
Just Shah Rukh Khan. Shout out to you.
My favorite film genre, that's hard, you know. Do I even have a favorite? I probably okay. If I don't know about a favorite, but the ones I watch a lot, like it's technically a period piece. But
Mhm.
you know, these are like Casino and Goodfellas and
Oh yeah,
Godfather, like those are crime period pieces, I guess. So that
nice. Okay. Do you prefer the country or the city?
the country when I want to be alone, and the city when I've got to get work done.
the city for sure. Yeah,
I'm the same as
there's
you.
nothing to do. There's nothing to do in the countryside. No.
But it is
Exactly that, though.
nice. It is nice. Like I'm a city girl, but when you like want to go on a local break or just need
Yeah,
air,
peace and quiet.
yeah.
Yeah, I get
I couldn't live in the country there. No, no.
that.
Okay. Morning or night person? Which one are you?
um, night. I'm a night owl. Yeah, I'm barely
Um,
functional in the morning. So yeah,
I'm gonna say afternoon because morning, I'm like these days I'm just knackered for a good few
option
hours.
C.
Nighttime, I'm knackered again. Afternoon is like when I've got my equilibrium, I guess. So
Yeah.
afternoon.
I want to be an afternoon person, but like I get tired during the day, and then as soon as it's time to sleep, my head is like, oh, you should write this, or like it's just buzzing with ideas. So, okay, final one that I like to end with everyone is what advice would you both give to your younger selves if they were watching this? What would you say?
Hmm. Don't be scared. Don't worry. Talk to everyone you want to talk to. Um, don't get stuck in your own head. Don't let your ego control you. Probably like a whole list. I can write a book for myself and watch it tell myself, but
You should
I'll
do
go with
that.
them.
Yeah, don't be shy. Don't let your shyness control you. Don't be afraid to make connections, and um, just keep going. Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. Yeah.
Dreaming. Fantastic. Well, that's a fabulous message to end from both of you. Again, thank you so much for joining South Asian artists in conversation.
Thank
I
you.
will be
No,
announcing.
thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
no problem at all. Thank you for just suggesting it as well, Ali. I'll be announcing more guests to come this year, so stay tuned.
Oh,
Thank you, guys.
exciting.
Bye.